Hey YouTube, it's Florida Deere here again with another video on trailing your John Deere 1 Series tractor. Probably a little bit more than a month ago, I made a video on the ideal trailer for your John Deere 1 Series, and kind of wanted to follow that up with some tips, pointers, bits of wisdom that would help you in trailing your John Deere 1 Series tractor. Now this video is going to be specifically for 1 Series tractors, but a lot of these trailing tips will, probably carry on to hauling other things, including larger tractors, smaller tractors, other types of loads. A lot of them are really basic stuff. And I make the video because some of you might be new to trailering your John Deere 1 Series or new to trailering to begin with. And there's a lot of folks I see on the road when I'm out and about, they're towing a trailer, and it's scary. The condition of the trailer, the things they checked or didn't check, the condition of their tow vehicle, those kind of things. And we'll just touch on the tow vehicle as well, but mostly we'll be focused on the trailer and the precious cargo that it's carrying. If you find this video helpful, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. That would help me quite a bit. All right, here we go. Okay guys, the first thing I wanted to go over would be respect your load and increased size. So with this trailer and with the truck as well, you're looking at just right at or right under 43 feet. Okay, so that's a pretty big load there that you're gonna have to get in and out of traffic, change lanes in, make right hand, left hand turns. Hopefully you don't have to park too much, because when you're having a rig that's 43 feet long, I mean, finding places to park is going to be difficult. Normally I have some sort of other attachment on the tractor, but today it's just was moving around the trailer for some other reasons, so decided to just have that on there. And anyway, the first thing I wanted to tell you was to check lights. So I have lights, running lights here on the tractor up at the front, or the trailer up at the front, another clearance light there, and then your lights back here, and then same thing on this side. Just check those, make sure they work, make sure your turn signals work, make sure your brake lights work. I mean, this obviously seems pretty obvious, but you go down the road and people don't have brake lights, they don't have any lights, so obviously, especially when it's dark out, this is critically important. But if you're in heavier traffic, it's also important. The next thing would be check tires for proper PSI. These tires are rated at 50 PSI. So normally I'll have, between 45 and 50 PSI, which is plenty for the loads that I carry. I keep it well under the 7,000 pound total load that it is. And this is, just to touch on that real quick, this is a 7,000 pound trailer. That's its total capacity. That includes the trailer weight, which is about 1,700 pounds. So really I have a load capacity of about 5,300 pounds, which these tractors with the loader are probably around 2,000, a little bit more. Throw some stuff on the back of them. Wheel weights, they might be between 2,500 to 3,000. So they're still well within that specification for the trailer. If you have a single axle, yeah, you can get away with it, but you're not going to get away with it very much, just because of the capacity, and the length is normally, probably on a single axle, most single axles probably stop at 12 or 14. I'm not saying you couldn't get a bigger one, but I'm just saying that's typically the case. And by that time, if I had like a bush hog on here, it would be 16 plus. So that's something to consider. And then you want to have your spare tire. You want to make sure that is at the proper inflation as well. Obviously, if you need to use it, you want it to be ready. That would go with the tow vehicle as well. Again, this is really common stuff, but it's common sense stuff. But you'd be surprised, anybody that's you know, been out and about watching other people tow trailers, it can get kind of scary. Secure and pack your load correctly. So these are my smaller ratchet straps. I think they're still pretty substantial for this. Nice hooks on them, and then that's a nice decent sized, and I can't remember what the rating is. I want to say somewhere 1,000 plus, but I'm not sure. Most of the little dinky ones you get at you know, Walmart or Tractor Supply or something are like 500 to 600 pounds. These are quite a bit more, and I did upgrade, not because I didn't think those were good, but just because I wanted to get additional ones and didn't want to get the little dinky ones. But these are actually rated at, these are bigger. I don't know if you can tell that they're not side by side, but I kept one old one on and then one new one for this video. These are rated at 3,300 pounds. And they were actually 27 feet. And actually, I know this is gonna make some of you guys just cringe or whatever, but I cut off 7 feet just because for this trailer, for these uses, it's really too long to be, that's just, I mean, this is how much I wrapped around. I think the other ones are 14 feet. And these are now 20 feet, which means they're still, you know, quite a bit long for this. But if I have, you know, loads that require, you know, me to spread stuff out, then I have some access that I can use with that. You know, before you take off, you want to make sure that your tongue and all your equipment is hooked up. This is, in my first video, told everybody that it was a 2 5/16 ball, and this is a 5 1/4 inch drop. I got the tongue support thing all the way cranked up. The chains are hooked up here, and the electrical 7-pin thing is hooked up there as well. If your trailer has brakes, you want to check your brakes. Most of these type trailers with the double axle will have brakes. They're going to be, you know, just because they're in Florida, if you're over 3,000 pounds, it has to have trailer brakes, which is interesting because the single axle 3,500 pound trailers don't have brakes, but Florida rates them at 3,000, even though they can actually haul more. But by law, you're not supposed to haul more because of that particular stipulation. You know, that's you know, just worth considering. You know, making sure your trailer brakes work. Obviously, as heavy as these loads can be, you want a little assistance for your vehicle as well. The levelness of the trailer, I didn't check it this time, but I think unloaded it was 16 inches on the rear and 16 inches on the front, and I think this is about where I want it to be. I got the load pretty much right at the middle, maybe a little bit biased to the front. You don't want to have the load biased to the rear ever, because that doesn't allow you to have much control. It develops a lot of sway and a lot of wiggle. I remember watching once, a guy was going down the road in an F-350 down the highway, and he was doing like 40 or something, and he had a big like tank of water at the tail end of the trailer, and oh my gosh, this thing was shaking violently, which is probably why he was only doing 40. And even at 40 he was you know, shaking violently. And if he had loaded his load correctly and pushed it forward one way or the other, he could have probably traveled down the road at, you know, 70, 75 and not been an issue. But now you don't want to bias your load too far to the front, because then your tow vehicle is going to be weighted down on the back, and then which leaves your front end of your tow vehicle light, which means the steering response isn't as good. So that's just something to consider there as well. Let's see what else I have here. So that's obviously key, having a proper balance of that. You want to check your mirrors, make sure your mirrors are you know, adjusted. I don't unfortunately have the big tow mirrors. I have the, I guess, the towing package, but not the max towing package on this particular F-150. I'll get into the tow vehicle in a minute. let's see here. You want to make sure before you take off that your tongue support thing is up, that your gate is up and secure, that your load is secure. Of course, we touched on that. And on my other trailer, I used to have little jacks that went right about here, because it was a single axle, so there was a lot of up and down as the tractor went on and off the thing. So I put a jack there and a jack on the other side. Not once did I pull away and forget to put those up, which is surprising. I think eventually you do that enough time, you have one of those issues where you take off and you've left something down that you weren't supposed to leave down. So with ramps though, you know, a lot of times, you know, you just hang those off the back and then they slide on to the back, or they slide on to the side right here. And then they normally are secured by pins or something like that. You want to make sure that you obviously, you know, get those up. You don't want to leave them there, and you don't want to drag them on the road. And then I'll touch on, so the tow vehicle is important too. I decided to get an F-150 Super Crew that had the 6.5 foot bed, and as you can see, it has the 7 lugs on the wheels. So this is an 8200 GVWR package. So its towing capacity isn't much higher than the average F-150, or probably not any higher at all, but the payload capacity is substantially increased. In fact, it's called the payload package. I can haul in excess of 2,300 pounds, despite it being a 4x4 and having the basically double cab. It still has the capacity for that. I think the regular capacity for a, you know, regular cab might be like 3,000 plus or something in a, you know, 1 ton or a half-ton truck, which kind of throws out the old nomenclature for that. Anyway, so, you know, while towing capacities for full-size trucks are, you know, in excess of what, 11, 12, or 13,000 pounds right now, those, in my opinion, are pretty ridiculous. The trucks are, I mean, this one's tipping the scales at close to 6,000, which is one of the heavier ones, because it's still a steel F-150, because it's pre-15, and it's a 4x4 long bed with crew cab. So it's about as heavy as an F-150 gets, but you're still looking at right at 6,000 pounds. So most of them are lighter than that. And then to tow something that's well over twice your vehicle weight can be scary unless you know, tow on a regular basis and are very comfortable with towing. So I would suggest, you know, not towing much more than, say, 8, 9, 10,000 pounds with these. And that leads me to other tow vehicles available. I would keep it with a full-size SUV or a full-size truck. I did look up the tow capacities of the Ford Ranger, which was 7,500, and then the smaller trucks went down to, say, 5,000 for a Honda El Accordo. The Chevy and the Toyota were in between at, I think, 6,800 and 7,000 pounds. So all of those could actually tow this. They probably just wouldn't tow it very well. I'm sure there's going to be somebody that puts something in the comments about how they have one of those trucks and they tow everything just fine and stuff. But I think comfortably, you know, towing with a full-size truck is probably ideal. If you have to get by with a mid or, you know, compact truck, I guess they don't call them compacts anymore, but if you have to get by with one of those, I'm sure you can. But you do want to have some capacity for just, you know, in my opinion, a level of comfort, you know, that you have. I think I comfortably tow this. My fuel mileage suffers significantly when I tow. I have the 5-liter V8, and I drop probably at least 3 to 4 miles to the gallon when I'm towing around. Now, I do put it on the tow haul setting, so it does rev a little bit higher, or longer, I should say, before it shifts, to keep the power band up. But anyway, you know, and the little trucks, again, they can tow that, but you just want to make sure that you have the right size hitch, that you have a 7-pin harness, those kind of things. A lot of the times those trucks don't come with those. I guess you could get them packaged with those, or you could certainly add those things later, but those are just considerations that you might want to take with that. And we'll say hi to Maverick. Hey, buddy. Come here. Not gonna come up here? Come on. Hey, what you doing, huh? You're upset that you're on the other side of the gate, huh? Yeah, I know. Don't be looking out there like you see some delivery guy. Now get down if you're just gonna bark. Anyways, so I don't think I've left anything out. I mean, I probably have, but if you think I have left something out, I try to touch on most of the things that I think were important in towing, and certainly a lot of the things that people seem to forget when they do some towing, you know, just being out on the street. So anyways, again, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you found it interesting and want to see more videos like it, you can hit the subscribe button as well. Again, I appreciate you guys watching. Bye-bye.